together. We're excited. We're going to have so much fun.
Are we walking?
We are walking. I want to get to the hotel. We'll be back when we get to the hotel and show you guys the hotel. What do we have to say though?
Yes.
Thank you, Lavelle! Bye guys, we'll be back. Hey, push finish, I'm one-handed.
When Shanann opened her eyes, the world was fog. Her kitchen stood frozen in half-light, coffee cups still warm, the hum of the refrigerator echoing like a distant heartbeat. She could smell cinnamon and lavender, her favorite candle, but the air was heavy, wrong, like something sacred had been torn apart. A figure stood in the doorway, familiar, radiant, smiling through tears. It was her grandmother. And in that moment, Shanann felt both peace and terror. That's how Vonda Knox's book, Beyond Tragedy, a story of Shanann Watts, begins. Not in a courtroom, not at a crime scene, but in a liminal space between life and death. It's a scene imagined from the afterlife, where Shanann, newly departed, begins to realize she and her children have been murdered. It's a haunting idea, to tell a true crime story from the perspective of the victim's soul. But it's also a controversial one, because what happened to Shanann, Bella, Cece, and baby Nico was not just a tragedy, it was an atrocity that stunned the nation in August 2018. And any attempt to retell it, especially through the lens of spirituality and imagination, touches a raw nerve that never fully healed. Still, Knox, a woman who lived near the Watts family in Frederick, Colorado, decided that this story couldn't end with the crime. She believed Shanann deserved a voice beyond the silence of the grave, so she wrote it for her. In her telling, Shanann wakes to the gentle voice of her grandmother holding baby Nico. Her daughters, Cece and Bella, are radiant and playful, unaware of the horror that brought them there. And then there's the realization that Bella isn't with them yet, that the light ahead is too bright to step into, that she must wait, understand, and somehow make peace with what has been done to her. It's spiritual, it's poetic, and it's not what most readers expect when they open a book about one of the most documented family murders in American history. But before we understand Beyond Tragedy, we need to remember the world it tries to rewrite.
In the summer of 2018, Chris and Shanann Watts seemed like a normal Colorado couple. Their Facebook lives were curated, their smiles practiced, their home neatly staged, the image of a family living the American dream. Shanann, a thriving health promoter with 2 young daughters and another baby on the way, posted daily affirmations of love and family. Chris, quiet and seemingly devoted, appeared in her videos as the gentle husband, the silent, grounding figure to her vibrant optimism. But behind the photos, things were breaking. Financial stress, emotional distance, secrets, and eventually a relationship that would turn deadly. When Shanann returned home from a business trip in the early hours of August 13th, 2018, she was never seen alive again. Later that day, a friend, concerned she'd missed an appointment, called police. Within hours, Chris appeared on television, pleading for his wife and children to come home. His voice was calm, his hands folded, his eyes dry. Days later, he confessed. He had strangled Shanann in their bedroom after she confronted him about an affair. Then, he smothered his daughters, 4-year-old Bella and 3-year-old Celeste, and buried them on an oil site where he worked. Shanann, still carrying their unborn son, was found in a shallow grave nearby. America watched in disbelief. That horror, raw, unrelenting, became the foundation for endless documentaries, podcasts, interviews, and online speculation. Everyone wanted to know why. But Vonda Knox's book doesn't ask why in the way police reports do. Her question is softer. What now? What happens to a soul that dies in such betrayal? How does one move from pain to peace when the end came through the hands of the person they trusted most? In her imagination, Shanann's journey begins with disorientation. She sees her home, feels the air, smells the lavender candle, but she's not in it. She's between worlds. Then, a Native American spirit speaks with stars, appears, drumming softly outside, telling her she is not alone. Through his guidance, she understands what happened and begins the painful process of letting go. Knox's imagery is vivid, emotional, and unapologetically spiritual. She portrays Shanann not as a victim frozen in tragedy, but as a mother learning to shepherd her children into peace, even after death. For some readers, it's beautiful. For others, it's deeply uncomfortable, because beyond tragedy walks a dangerous line, one that divides comfort from exploitation. On one side, there are readers who say Knox's work brought them closure, that by imagining Shanann's peace, they could find their own. On the other, there are critics who argue that giving a fictionalized afterlife voice to a real murdered woman is intrusive, that it uses her pain for poetic effect. The author herself, in interviews and social posts, said she felt guided to write it, that the story came to her as a form of healing. She never claimed it was investigative journalism. It was always meant as a spiritual retelling. But intention doesn't erase impact. In true crime, especially one as public and intimate as the Watts murders, the line between memorial and monetization is razor thin. When a writer steps into the voice of the victim, they carry a burden to honor, not distort. Knox seems aware of this. Her writing is careful, reverent, filled with light and sorrow. But still, it invents dialogue for a woman who can't speak. It imagines heaven for children who never had a chance to describe it. For a world addicted to evidence, it asks for faith. Yet, even in its controversy, Beyond Tragedy reveals something profound about our culture. It shows how we hunger to make sense of senseless acts. We search for meaning not because the facts are unclear, but because the pain is. The discovery documents tell us everything we need to know about how Shanann died. Knox's book tries to tell us something about what her death means. And maybe that's why the book, for all its faults, stays with people. It doesn't solve the crime, it doesn't defend or attack, it mourns. It imagines that somewhere, beyond the reach of violence and confession tapes, a mother still gathers her children, still holds them, still whispers that they are safe. But it's also a mirror. When we read it, we aren't really seeing Shanann. We're seeing ourselves, our need for peace, for forgiveness, for stories that end with light, even when they begin in the dark. In the end, that may be what Beyond Tragedies is really about. Not the facts, not the faith, but the fragile bridge between them, built by those left behind, trying to believe that even after the worst of humanity, there is still something holy that survives. But maybe what unsettles people most about Beyond Tragedy isn't its spirituality, it's its courage to imagine tenderness where brutality once lived. Because that's something the human mind resists. We can process evidence, we can diagram timelines, we can quote confession tapes. But to picture peace after violence, that feels like blasphemy. And yet, isn't that what grief forces us to do? To keep walking through the house after the sirens fade?
Don't get me wrong, I have my bad days. I have my off days. We all do. We're human, right? But on those days, I choose to do something that will bring me up, whether it's reading a book or reading a quote or reading something, finding something positive to read. I choose happiness. I choose drama-free life. I want a drama-free life. Oh my gosh. Colorado makes me feel like it's drama-free life because Colorado is just amazing. I was never the smartest kid on the block. I worked my tail off to fight through school I was not a book, like Chris is a book smart person. He reads something one time and he's like, it's memorized. Me, on the other hand, I was the one staying up to 2 o'clock in the morning studying and still struggling. I'm a horrible test taker. Horrible test taker. I can know all the answers, but put that test in front of me and I bomb it, or I struggle. And I've always struggled, through school. I've always, a lot of things, like insecurities, all of it played a huge role in my everything. So, but then the thing about me that is different than just different about me is I've never given up. A lot of you know my part of my story, my health challenges, bad relationships, things that could have knocked somebody down completely hardcore. But the thing is I believe that everything in life happens for a reason, and I also believe people are placed in our life for a reason. I didn't understand that I looked perfectly fine, and I felt horribly inside. Horribly. I felt a lot of discomforts, a lot of aches, a lot of bad moods. I met a lot of friends online, and in the part where I gave up on everything, I quit my job. It was kind of temporarily, but kind of quit my job of 9 years. I just said, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. You don't understand me. You don't understand what's going on in my life. And I quit. And I got a friend request from Chris. I was in a really, really, really bad place. And I got a friend request from Chris on Facebook. And I was like, oh, what the heck? I'm never going to meet him. Except, one thing led to another. And 8 years later, we have 2 kids. We live in Colorado. And he's the best thing that has ever happened to me. And because of my health challenges, because I got so sick, I let him in. And he only knew me at that time. He knew me at my worst, and he accepted me. And through your vows, like through sickness and everything, he's been there. He was the one that let me lay on him and fall asleep for 3.5 hours on his lap while he had to pee. He is the best thing that has ever happened to me.
To fold the laundry that will never be worn again? To hold onto the memory of laughter inside a place that will never sound the same? Knox's writing, whether readers love it or reject it, touches that nerve. It says, you cannot erase horror, but you can outlast it. And that, perhaps, is the truest afterlife any of us can hope for. When you strip away the visions and the drumming spirit and the glow of celestial light, what remains is an act of defiance. A neighbor, shaken by what happened next door, refusing to let that house be defined only by evil. She writes Shanann's soul back into existence, if only for a few pages. She lets her speak, not as a victim, but as a woman who, even in death, refuses to vanish quietly. It's an imperfect tribute, but maybe that's the point. Grief is never tidy. It's not supposed to be. It leaks through art and rumor and prayer and stories told late at night by people who can't sleep. That's what Beyond Tragedy really is. One woman's sleepless attempt to make sense of the unthinkable. And for a moment, just a flicker, it almost succeeds. When you finish the final chapter, the world feels quieter. Not healed, not whole, just still. As if somewhere beyond the headlines and the interviews, beyond the oil fields and courtrooms, there's a mother holding her children in a place untouched by cruelty. Maybe that's why stories like this matter. Not because they change what happened, but because they refuse to let it be meaningless. The Watts murders will always stand as one of the most horrifying betrayals in modern memory. But Knox's book whispers that even in that betrayal, there's a shadow of grace left behind.
Not in the man who destroyed his family, but in the way strangers years later still speak Shanann's name with love, with ache, with wonder. And that way, perhaps she really does live beyond tragedy. Because sometimes what we call the end is only the echo of a story still searching for peace.
Do it, Cece.
Here we go, Steelers. Here we go.
You want to do it again, Bella? Ready?
Here we go, Steelers.
Daddy, don't say it.
Now, go ahead.
No, I have something in my mouth.
Okay. You ready?
Here we go, Steelers.
Here we go.
I say it by myself.
Okay, go ahead.
Here we go, Steelers. Here we go.
Good job. Cece, you do it. Chris, she wants you to help her.
Here we go, Steelers. Here we go.
Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Hey, hey.
Good job, baby.
Pop-Pops.
Tell them you love them.
You're welcome. We love you.
Say love you.
Candy.
Oh yeah, shit, that's in here.